Welcome to the Daily Booty, episode 2. This is your skipper. Apologies in advance for those who were expecting the soothing sounds of Jay Billy. I'm going to be taking the helm on this one, and we're going to talk about this today and talk about some things to watch. Thanks for tuning in. All right, first, let's address the elephant in the room. CXT yesterday, and as you can see, really didn't perform well today. So, this is one that's entering into our what we call audit phase. So it was identified by the scroll as an elite entry about 3 days ago, and it really hasn't performed. It hasn't lived up to our expectations. So exiting that 3 day window, now we're going to decide: are we going to realize this loss, or do we continue to observe and see if it makes a move for us? But right now, we're not seeing anything very positive out of this, so we wanted to get that out of the way. But let's get on to the good stuff. So we also talked about Cisco, CSCO. So this is a great time to bring up that we know we mentioned this in previous episodes. I know we mentioned it. When we recommend a pick, we don't expect you to just go in blind. Say, all right, I'm just going to throw money at this at the open. To watch, pay attention. And this is a great case where you actually could have done very well if you got a good price at the market open, but you would have done even better if you paid attention throughout the day, because as we said, we are expecting a move to come out of this, and it's certainly happened. In fact, technically it happened twice. So if you look at the open price of 111.75, at least coming from the Schwab database, it's available to us from the Thinkorswim API, which is the screenshot that we're using. It opened at 111.75, and if you were able to get in on that open, and then throughout the opening minutes, it actually did rip up to about 112.75. So you make about a buck a share. Pretty good if you were paying attention and were able to. If not, if you wanted to see how it acts, you could have waited for after the big red candle, after the opening hour, starts to show some strength on that reversal. And really, if you had entered at any time during that reversal, or waited until the next candle to see what happens, you could have done really well. So you can see it peaked up here just shy of 112.2. So you could have got some nice gains out of CSCO as expected if you're watching. And then, this is just an oh, by the way, as you can see, the aftermarket candle started to form right away and start to show some strength. So this is something. It's still a couple days post earnings where the actual performance outpaced the expectations, but because earnings are what they are, the price still plummeted. So still expecting this to make a move, but in the short term, it made the day that we expected. So that was nice. Next is MCHP. So MCHP is one we've been holding for a while, and it's still definitely re-entering another audit phase to decide what we're going to do. But today it made a strong case for itself. So you see it open up there at 78.01. And so if you did enter at market open blindly, which I'm going to reiterate is not what we're recommending, it didn't do well right off the bat. However, it did a nice reversal down there on starting on the 11 o'clock candle. And even if you wanted that confirmation, which is not bad risk management, waiting for some confirmation on the formation of the 12 o'clock candle, you see it's still green and it starts to continue its expansion. You really could have done well because it closed strong today. So getting a couple bucks a share, depending on your position size on stock like this, could have done very well. And this is something to keep an eye on. So once again, don't go in blindly, but this is one that's showing signs of wanting to turn around. And by the way, it did post a green daily candle today, some strong signs of reversal. So keep an eye on this. And then here's one that is still nicely within our window. It popped a couple days ago as a fresh entry. So we're still holding this position. And this is FTNT, and really, had some interesting strengths today. So really good rip on the open. So, I mean, if you happen to be in this, I know this is the first time that we mentioned it. It would have been a nice opportunity for a gain, but what I want to highlight is the strength that you see throughout the day. So even though you see a mix of red and green candles, the trend is upwards, and the strength of the green candles dominates the losses of those red candles. And then I don't even concern myself with that last hour's red candle. Think of that as more of like a little bit of sell off, a little bit of cooling off period for a very strong day. So FTNT going into the after hours, going to tomorrow, something to keep an eye on for tomorrow. And it's not something that I will post officially, but this is one that I wouldn't be surprised if it showed up on the Scrolls elite entry list. So this would be a really nice one to look out for. Now, keep in mind with all of these entries, with anything that we discuss, we aren't saying specifically buy this stock. That's not what we're here for. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to just kind of draw your attention towards some stocks of interest. And our track record showing that they tend to work out. So I hope that you're enjoying our streams. We're still getting our feet under us as we figure this out, but you should be able to take advantage of some of the information that we're giving you. So with that, happy hunting and fair wind and following seas. Skipper out.